All right. So the Seattle Mariners were the first team in MLB ever to honor a Negro Leagues team by wearing a kind of, you know, historical jersey on the field. So my question all that. So they gave a jersey to the Negro League Hall of Fame to honor the fact that they wore the steelhead jersey on the field.
And they
My
still
question
do.
all that. What that?
They still do. Every Sunday they wear them.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, they're the first ones to ever do it in a game. Now they're going to keep
Yeah.
doing it. But is my question in all this is MLB doing enough to honor the Negro Leagues? They spent all that time to integrate them, and then kind of nothing came from it. So is MLB doing enough?
I mean, no, right? I mean, if this is really the only team to honor and celebrate the Negro Leagues, then I'm gonna say no. I mean, I've seen more in the past 3 months out of the Indianapolis Clowns and Banana Ball celebrating the Negro Leagues than I have out of MLB. And I mean, I get it, right? They have the Clowns name. They bought the rights to the Indianapolis Clowns. But when David Griffin was on here and talking about like the cleats he has, he busted them out. I don't know if you've seen them. They are absolutely insane
They're
sick. They
super
got,
cool.
oh my god, it's got like Satchel Paige, Josh Gibson cards on there, pictures, their numbers, and they're going in the Negro League Hall of Fame. Did you see that?
Oh, I didn't. That's awesome.
Yeah, so he got those, and the first he was the first player for the Indianapolis Clowns to throw a banana ball. So the ball he pitched and the cleats that he is wearing in KC are going to the Negro League Hall of Fame. So
That's
I
awesome.
thought that was pretty damn cool. But they're doing so much stuff around that they're celebrating. And he couldn't talk enough about he couldn't wait to get to KC to play at Kauffman Stadium for this reason because they're really going to dive into it. So I look at that and I look at the opportunities that the MLB could have had with all of these historical teams coming from cities that they play in and they don't celebrate it. They don't. The MLB does not honor the Negro Leagues enough in my eyes.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to agree, and I was going to use Indianapolis Clowns as an example. Banana Ball has done more in the last 3 months than MLB has done in the last 10 years. And I'm not saying that MLB necessarily has to. Like, there's not like some sort of like requirement from the fans that they do so many things a year to honor the Negro Leagues. But I look at all the other dumb stuff that MLB supports, and it's like, why not this? Like, why not? For the longest time, they were struggling because they could not attract African American children to baseball. Your black communities did not support baseball, and
Right.
they made that huge push. I remember it was Torrey Hunter who was like the middle of it in like the '90s and 2000s, and Adam Jones was part of it. Like they made this big push to bring baseball back to the black communities, and
Mm-hmm.
like I want to say one of the players that spoke about that impacting them was Mookie Betts, and then like all of it stopped. Like those guys
Right.
retired, and like nobody carried the mantle forward. I feel like MLB is really good at reacting to the public outcry and doing just enough to get it to go away and then going back to their old ways. Um, I think you spent all that time integrating the Negro Leagues stats. You did that big unveiling on a friggin' Tuesday night when nobody was paying attention. You've got one team that's wearing a jersey that represents an old team. Like either do it or don't, but don't half-ass it like
Right.
they've been doing.
Yeah. I'm with you. And there was a huge push for it. Like, Griffey bringing up the fact that, hey, we should all be wearing Jackie Robinson's number. Like, what are
Right.
we even doing? What are we even doing here? Right. And then you're right. That whole crew there was a really big component. Like, you saw them at Boys and Girls Club. CC Sabathia was always out and did a
Yep.
ton of stuff with Boys and Girls Club, right? You saw him everywhere. That's at least gone away in the public eye. Like we don't see players do that anymore. Like here and there, maybe, but it's not thrown in our face like it was then. And like I mean, Curtis says, I truly appreciate that you brought this topic up. So nice job, Harrison. But I'm with you. Like, I don't think that they've done enough to honor the Negro Leagues at this moment. And your point about them just doing enough to kill the buzz, right? Oh, they're starting to talk about it. Let's do something to kind of nip it in the bud, and it goes away, right? The Seattle Steelhead jerseys are sick. I love them.
They're nice.
They're so sweet. And there are some others. I think Ryan said it back here. I guess the Royals wear Monarchs jerseys on occasion. I haven't seen that yet, but I've
never seen it, but MLB referenced them as the first team to wear a replica Negro League jersey in like an actual regular season game.
Yeah, and it's part of their uniform rotation, I believe, because
every Sunday it's an alternate.
Was it Cardinals and Giants that played in Birmingham last year?
Rickwood, yeah.
Rickwood. It was Giants and Cardinals, I'm pretty sure.
I know it was the Cardinals because I'm pretty sure Burleson hit a home run in that game.
Yeah, he did. So, I mean, like, that stuff's cool. I would love for them to do more of that. But, like, again, that was just kind of a one and done, right? It was like, okay, we did it, like, moving on. Let's go back into our NASCAR. We'll go back into the white lane over here and do it at a race car track. No, like, continue honoring the history of baseball. The Negro Leagues is a huge part of baseball history and what those guys brought to the game, and continue to still make impacts on today's game. MLB needs to find a way to celebrate it more.
Yeah, I agree. And if you want to keep getting baseball deeper into these communities, whether they're white communities, black communities, doesn't matter. Like, you have to continue to grab at those important aspects and make them part of the game. And this is a great way to do that. An alternate, but it makes the Negro Leagues a discussion topic in Seattle again.
Right.
Like, they're gonna wear the uniform a total of like 16 times this year, but it's gonna bring up the conversation every time.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's something as simple as like, hey, Dad, why do the uniforms look different today? And then the dad can tell them.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I totally agree. Baseball History Door says, let's not forget that incorporating Negro League stats was huge. Yeah.
Massive.
And that didn't come without backlash, which I still can't understand that part. Right. I really can't. I can't wrap my mind around why you wouldn't incorporate these guys. These guys played at the highest level of baseball that they were allowed to at that time.
Yep.
There's no question to me that they belong in MLB record books. I think it's silly that you would try to differentiate the two. But Greg says, I mean, I think the hardest part is just educating people about the Negro Leagues, because I would think a majority of casual fans don't even know much about it besides recognizing that it existed. And I think that's part of it. And that's what I love about MLB The Show. For any of you guys that play that, they do have storylines. And this guy that's in the middle, his name has escaped me and it's terrible.
That's Kendrick, the guy that runs the Negro League Hall of Fame.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. He does stories about all the moments you can play of all these Negro League stars over time, and you can relive their highlights of their careers. And he talks through their careers, and like, they played numerous positions and all of that stuff. So it's really cool. Like, if you're into any type of baseball history, just running through those storylines and listening to this guy talk about his extensive knowledge of the Negro Leagues is impressive. And it's a really cool aspect of the game. But again, that's a video game doing more than what the MLB is doing. So it's just, MLB needs to do more.
The storylines are awesome. They did Cool Papa Bell on one of them, and it was like, Bob Kendrick at one point is like walking you through the area of the museum that he's in and talking about his career, and then they show the stories that he came up as a pitcher, and he like all like stuff. I learned so much about Cool Papa Bell that I didn't know just from that.
Yeah.
Like, I found myself rewatching some of the videos to catch more of the facts and almost ignoring that was part of the game.
Right. Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. Curtis says, after Buck O'Neill passed, It was up to us to keep it going. A rich tradition that's beyond nostalgia. Yeah. Yeah, everybody should follow Bob Kendrick on Facebook. Thank you. I can't believe his name was. Many people are too
encyclopedia baseball.
Yeah. And Marty, this is also a fair point, but still doesn't quite it's still not an excuse, but I get it, right? Most people are too young to know, appreciate, and understand the whole segregation and civil rights struggles blacks went through. 1,000%. Like that's a huge part of this, right? And maybe that's just the youth not quite understanding. They've never lived in a world quite like that. Are there still instances of that? 1,000%. I'm not going to sit here and say that it's completely wiped out, right? Racism's still a thing, but unfortunately still a thing. But they're never going to understand what it was like back then during segregation. So and that's a hard thing to teach, right? Like, how do you teach somebody that never saw what that looked like? It's hard. So the best thing we can do is to keep these guys' legacies going on and being like, these were damn good baseball players. They probably would have been the best players in the MLB if they were allowed to. So that's the hard part here. But bottom line, MLB doesn't do enough. They need to do more. I would love, get rid of these stinking City Connects, man. Just stop it. And just stop it and do exactly what the Seattle Mariners are doing. Make it your home weekend alternate. Why not? If your city has a rich tradition of a Negro League team being there, why not? Why not put that uniform back into circulation?
Yeah, and if you're not in a market where there was a Negro League team, then just do a throwback. But it'd be nice to see more of the history of baseball tied in, not these new cuts at current stuff. Like we say on the show all the time, there's over 100 years of history here, and most of us know very little of it, myself included.
Mm-hmm.
Help us learn more about it. Like,
right.
Continue to share the story of the game.
Yeah. I mean, Curtis says, I need to go deeper with it. I'm not ashamed to say this. I still want to know more about Josh Gibson. A lot of us do, right? Amen. I mean, from the stories, they say this guy hit over 800 career home runs, but is only tracked for 168. Like that's also the hard part, is they didn't have the stats or the compilation of stats because they weren't kept. So that's the hard part of all this, right? When we're trying to compare these guys to MLB guys, but it still doesn't take away from their greatness, and their story still should be told all the time, more than it is. So yeah, and Greg, agree. There should be no reason the Red Sox have 2 City Connects in rotation, right? Listen, keep your standard. If you're Boston Red Sox, for example, keep your home whites, keep your road grays, and then have a City Connect, have a Negro League uniform. Those are your 4 for the year. Done. It's not tough, right? I mean, come on now. Yeah, and Nostalgic Baseball Geezer says the Negro League Museum in KC is a great place. And that is, when I get out to a Royals game, that is my stop in the morning before the game, for sure.
Yep.
I'll spend all day there. So, oh yeah, and Curtis, we are totally with you. It's deeper than Jackie. It sounds crass, but it's true. 1,000%. And we, as avid baseball fans, know that it's deeper than Jackie, right? We understand that. But again, the casual fan doesn't. And that's where doing something like the Seattle Mariners are doing for all the teams across the nation would be a great thing to bring more attention to what the Negro Leagues were and what it has brought to the game today. So,
yeah, I mean, ditto to all of that. This is such a huge topic, and I just brought it up because I was shocked to see the fact that this is the first team that's got a Negro League uniform in rotation, and I found that shocking.
Yeah.
And I've said it before on the show, like all this Negro League stats, they released it like on a random Tuesday night. No big fanfare, no big publicity, and then it was over.
And
like, no follow up.
And we raked the MLB over the coals when that came out. When was that? 2 years ago? 3 years ago, Harrison?
I want to say 2 years ago. I want to say it was 24 because that was the Rickwood game, right? It was just before that.
And me and you sat here for a good hour and a half just demolishing the MLB for doing that. It wasn't the fact that they did it. It was the fact of just like, oh, hey, and by the way, the Negro League stats are integrated now.
Yeah, there was no follow-up, no big announcement, no sharing of what they learned. It was just like, hey, they're out there. Cool. We did it. We did a thing. And that was it. It was done.
Brutal.
And they've never mentioned it again.
No. Terrible. Ed says they also didn't have the visibility. Sad, but most folks want to see the games. I'd love to know more, but it's hard to find. And that's what I'm hoping. Like, KC and St. Louis are on my like next to go to stadiums. And when I get there, like that's a question I want to ask a curator. Like, where can I find all of this stuff when I'm at home? Right? Like, what are some good websites I can go to? Like, that's not going to lead me down a dark alley. Like some good straight facts where I can find the real information. Because I would love to sit here. Because, like you said, like, can you look it up on YouTube? You can probably find some clips.
There's stuff.
Yeah. But like, give me the real stuff. Where can I find this stuff? Okay, Nostalgic Baseball Geezer says Phil Dixon is a good author of Negro League books. So
cool.
That's a good one. Phil Dixon. That's good. I'll write that one down for sure. So,
and like the other part of it, like they did the Rookwood event, you had all those old Negro League players that were in attendance that were sharing stories. Nobody captured any of that from MLB on video. There was no interviews. There was no storytelling sessions. There was nothing. You brought all these guys together and did nothing with it.
Yeah.
Like it's the kind of stuff that makes me nuts.
Yeah. 1,000%. John Temple said they said the museum is moving to a bigger location as well. They have outgrown the 10,000 square foot space it's in. That's awesome. I love that.
That's wild. It was only in 10,000 square feet.
Well, I mean, 10,000 square feet is still quite big, but I mean, yeah. Well, compared to I guess it's really not that big. Really?
It's really 10, not that big.
It sounds big.
I guess maybe I just have a different opinion, you know.
Yeah, Harrison's just sitting up there in his mansion up in Bedford Cove. I get it. But no, I mean,
oh god.
It's cool that, you know, like when they were integrating these stats, they did come out and say like, hey, like we're still really researching this and we're still adding stats in like as we find them. But they're like still trying to dig through old newspapers and archives and like piecing games together. Like that's how intricate of lack of stats that they had for these guys is they're trying to piece games together through newspapers, which is insane, right? Because it might say like Josh Gibson got a hit in the third, Satchel Paige struck out 2 in the 6th. Okay, that was on May 12th, right? So they put that over here in this column in that game, but that's all they have from that game. Then they go to another newspaper and they find a couple more tidbits in the story, and then they put it like they're patchworking games together, not even seasons, games. And that's kind of the hard part about this, but yeah. But it's okay. The SABR bios for individual players are good resource. So that's good to know.
Yeah, those are good. I've used those for a lot of research.
Yeah. So the league should have teams do frequent story time videos with old players from their teams to keep the history alive. And that would be a great one too, right? Have current players sit down with old players and just pick their brains. Would love that.
Crazy thought. You know, maybe we could do one less Shohei Ohtani post each day and actually post something about the history of baseball. Like maybe like even like an on this day in baseball history. Wild thought.
Harrison.
I know.
Come on now.
It's crazy talk.
Come on now. Don't go overboard with this. But like seriously though, I mean, Absolutely. There's so much. The bottom line, the answer to this question is no. The MLB does not do enough to honor the Negro Leagues. Bottom line.
Done. Period. Full stop.
Yeah. And kudos to the Seattle Mariners. So
yeah, somebody gets it.
Yeah. Love it.
There's a lot of things in Seattle they're not doing well, but this they got.